Welcome back. So glad that you've joined me today. When was the last time that we actually stopped and thought about the way that we're traveling in? We've got maps, we've got GPS, we've got this and that to get us to different directions. And even when we think that we have the right directions, too often we get ourselves lost. From the very beginning, God gave us a manual to be able to make sure that we were able to navigate this life correctly. But even with that manual and talking about the Bible itself, we too often forget that we're not actually calling upon the one that wrote the manual himself. We're reading it, but we forget about the relationship. So often we think about the ways that we're going in, and we end up getting in our own way or in the ways of others, where God is using this as a time of learning and growing together, not to get in other people's ways or tear people apart or even do what we're wanting to do. Our lives and our journey are all about Him. Maybe it's time for us to actually stop and re-examine what's going on. Take a look under the hood again of what we're traveling with. And even more, why don't we stop and actually take time to read God's Word and look to see what He has for us, and not just the plans for here and now, but the plans for the future. Even talking about that, it continually amazes me looking at this, that we focus so much on the past that our past has become our present. And because we focus on the past so much, it all of a sudden our future becomes our past dealings. And the sand of the present disappears into forever. When God created us, He didn't create us to focus on what happened. Yes, at the same time, we need to learn from what happened, and we need to grow so that we're not continually making those same mistakes. But our past does not dictate our present, and even more, it does not dictate our future. We are a product of our choices, not on what happened or what will happen or our environment or even our situation. That's a word that too many people don't like today, is that of choice. Just being bombarded with the very fact that, hey, it's my choice that shows what will happen both now and in the future. If we were living realizing that our choices actually made this, maybe our future and even our present would be a lot different. Can you think of stories in the Bible where choices that were made maybe could have been made differently? I can think of several, especially in the case of David, where choices that he made eternally and even more locally affected the future of a nation, and even more than that, affected the future of a family itself. Now today we're taking a look at 2 Samuel chapter 22 in verse 31. It says this: "As for God, His way is perfect. The word of the Lord is flawless. He is a shield for all who take refuge in Him." Amazing promise, isn't it? No matter what is happening, we know that our God is sure. God is still on His throne. His word is sure. He is faultless. He is flawless. He is our refuge. He is our shield. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter what's going on in my life, no matter how things intersect or whatever is going on, let us continue to remember that what God has to say is sure. He will never leave us. He will never forsake us. But even more than that, what He has to say has eternal ramifications, and it will continually be true both now and through the ceaseless ages of eternity. Now that is something that we can bank on and continue to study, continue to learn, and continue to build that relationship with Jesus himself. Thank you again for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time as we continue to study God's Word together. God bless.